Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Charlotte. Comment ça va? Vous allez bien? Aujourd'hui, nous allons regarder un texte sur Josephine Baker. Josephine Baker, if you like. So I'll just write her name down here on my tiny children's whiteboard, or children's magnetic board. Là. Josephine Baker. So you might also see her name written like that. Josephine. To kind of like naturalize it into kind of French, because the Josephine would have the grave accent. Oh my lord, I've just seen a fox. Right. How am I going to show you this tiny little fox? Hopefully, this is a good sign. Foxes are my favourite animal, and I'm in the city. I don't see foxes very often, but what I will do, if it goes in front of my car, I will just like flick the button around, and then hopefully you'll see this little fox. I take that as a good sign. Merci adieu. So anyway, sorry I get excited. I get excited about squirrels, cute animals, but foxes are my favourite. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take a picture. This is so exciting. I'll take a picture on my phone. Just there. Look at that cheeky little thing. I've never done this before. I'll take a video. Hello, matey. Hello, matey. Oh, he's a scraggly, skinny little... he's a skinny little street fox. C'est un renard de la rue. Right, guys, look at this. So, let me show you. Just get rid of that. Oh, that is definitely a good sign, guys. You don't know how good a sign that is. Look at this little guy. Oh. Sorry, I'm never normally this messy, but you know, like I do get excited about foxes in particular. Oh mince, ça marche pas. Ouais, regarde, c'est lui-là. Regarde. Cool. Trop cool. Okay, so I don't know where he is, but I see that as a really good sign, because foxes are my favourite animal. Oh, he's gone down there. Il est là-bas. Il est là-bas. Il y a la guitare devant. Wow, little street fox. It's so fun. It's so cute. Okay. J'arrête. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, it's a fox. It's a street fox. It's skinny. I love foxes. Merci, mon Dieu. Okay. So, I'm excited about the fox. But even more so, where was I? I need to explain. Qui c'était cette belle fille? Elle s'appelait, imperfect because she was called, she used to be called. I have to stop watching the fox in the wing mirror because he's chasing his tail. C'est super mignon. He's very cute. Ok, j'arrête. Je regarde pas le renard là-bas. Ok. Elle s'appelle Josephine Baker, and she was a famous dancer, famous actress, kind of. Well, you'll see in the text, which I've taken from Wikipedia. So I've taken it from the French version of Wikipedia, and it's not exactly the same as the English version, but some of the content's the same. So if you want to, you can read the French and then go back and read the English version, or you can just listen to this video. So here I've got three, I've given club members three of the paragraphs. I don't think I've changed them. All I've done is, as per usual, I've put the verbs in red, and I've listed here what the verbs are so that you can quickly kind of practice them or refer back to them in their infinitive forms, excuse me. And I've also underlined the dates because dates can be quite hard to master. Like I have to stop sometimes and be like, what's that date? Comment je dis ça en français? Ah, il y a un autre. There's another fox over there. Why do I like foxes so much? They're like my all-time favourite animal. Anyway. So she's a beautiful lady, and she was in a film, and she famously wore just like a skirt made out of like bananas, like a little kind of bead necklace, and did a dance. And then she's seen sometimes on like memorabilia, kind of like enamel signs and that kind of thing, posters and things of the era. So basically, this lady was an American dancer, actress. She was married 3 times, I think, in her life, but her second marriage was to a French chap called Jean Lyon, and she became like French through marriage then, and kind of renounced her American citizenship, and then she kept his surname Baker even after she divorced him and remarried. So Josephine Baker was like French, but she became French after marrying a French chap and was originally American. So let's have a little look, shall we, before I say another fox and start getting confused, distracted. So I've written these 2 paragraphs out on this board, and because I can't fit the 3rd one on there, I thought we'd just stick with the 2. Anyone who's in my French club will have that 3rd paragraph that they can look at. You'll see the verbs, and you'll see are in red, and you'll see the underlined dates. And there's also a link. There's a link to this video, which you can find at the bottom here. I send a digital handout via PDF format via email, but here you've got the link to the original text. And I think I'll also add, before I send this out, I'll amend this and add a link to the song which kind of inspired me to use Josephine Baker as the impetus for this content. And that song is Miss Josephine, which is a song written by Fred Snow and performed by him and his band, the Top Shelf Band, or various bands that he's worked with. And so it's a shout out for Fred and his wonderful music and wonderful penmanship of songs. So go and check that out, please. I'll put the link below here in the description box, and I'll also probably put a link in the comments because you can see it easier. And then I'll put a link here to anyone who's interested, because it's a beautiful song. And I like that kind of ear and that kind of jazzy kind of music. So, merci, merci à vous, Fred. So, this is what it says. Frida Josephine MacDonald, dite Josephine Baker, est une chanteuse, danseuse, actrice et résistante française d'origine américaine, née le 3 juin 1906 à Saint Louis, Missouri, États-Unis, est morte le 12 avril 1975. 1975, ici, à Paris, France. Vedette du musical et icône des années folles, elle devient française en 1937, après son mariage avec Jean Lyon, un courtier en sucre industriel. Durant la Seconde Guerre mondiale, elle est une honorable correspondante des services secrets français et se produit souvent gratuitement en Afrique du Nord devant les troupes alliées et termine la guerre comme lieutenante de l'armée française de la Libération. En 1946, elle reçoit la médaille de la Résistance française. So, weirdly, this is all kind of like written in it looks like it's written in the present tense. But what we've actually got here is, it's writing about something that's taken place in the past. So let me just have a little look what I was going to check there. What was it? I was going to check a little word there. Ah oui, courtier. Not sure I know exactly how to translate that, so let's have a little look. So this is a bit talking about her husband, or her second husband. So what I'm doing when I'm unsure of a word, I can't remember it, and then what I do is I go onto Word Reference, which is an app that looks like, so on my phone it's ici, Word Reference. You see that? Okay. And so you can choose the language. I've got French to English selected here, and I've typed in courtier, And you can listen to it spoken, if I've got the sound on.
Courtier.
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 Courtier. Merci. It's written phonetically. It's got various inflections. It tells you what part of language it is, blah blah blah, masculine, feminine, that kind of thing. And then it's got some examples. So this is really, really useful. Then it's got combined forms and blah blah blah, various different entries. And also, if you can see, you probably can't see that, but if you look kind of here, we've got like a forum then where people pose questions, or ask questions, I should say. Poser des questions. And you can also switch to English to French, for example. So it's a super, super useful free tool. You can also go onto the website wordreference.com and you can look for various language combinations to translate things. So it's a really, really useful, like I'd say an essential tool for any type of linguist, whether you're like amateur or professional. You know, it's really, really useful. So go and get that if you haven't already. So courtier is a broker, okay? So let's have a little look. I'm going to leave that last bit, although it's very, very interesting. The third paragraph actually talks about Josephine's involvement in the civil rights movement against racism in America, or just against racism really, and the emancipation of black people, because she was a black lady. So that's a really useful one. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to look at that because we're already like nearly 12 minutes in and I haven't written it out on my whiteboard. So I think that's just like maybe an extra thing that you can look at if you're in my French club, okay? So let's have a look. So Freda Josephine Baker. Freda Josephine Baker. Okay, or Freda Josephine Baker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave out the kind of accent aigu là, and I'll show you why. So that was her name, Freda Josephine Baker, and then it says Dites Josephine Baker. Okay, so it's got the little accent aigu there. Aigu. Accent grave, accent aigu. Because like in English you wouldn't have an accent in Josephine. Oh, there's that fox again. Stop confusing me, Fox. He's so skinny. Il est trop mince. Il n'a rien mangé depuis des jours. Il est disparu. Il s'en va. Anyway. J'étais trop tard, en fait. So let's see. So there's her name, and this is how it's spelt in French with a little accent, because Josephine Baker. Et chanteuse, although it does actually say in the text, est une chanteuse. The reason I haven't put that in there is because normally when you introduce yourself and you say, like, I'm a singer, je suis chanteuse, je suis danseuse. So here it's describing her. She is I think it's probably because, maybe, because it's got an adjective after it. She is a French singer, a dancer, an actress. So it might be for that reason, okay, because there's an adjective. So instead of just saying she's an actress, it's saying she's a French actress. So it's kind of like, what's the word? I can't think of words today. Modifying the noun with an adjective. So she's a chanteuse. So chanteur would be a male singer. Chanteuse with the E-U-S-E, euse ending, is one that you will find often at the end of like a feminine noun. So we've got danseuse instead of danseur. And then we've got actrice. So is the other one that's feminine. So acteur, actrice. Okay. Et résistante. So un résistant is someone who, it's someone who was a member of the resistance. So I don't think like an opposer. Now there is a specific word for someone who, I can't remember what it is. There's a word for someone who like didn't want to be, is it an objector? Conscientious objector. So I think that's slightly different. Someone who objects to the, like to a political movement, or say the war, for example. So I think that's different. Someone who doesn't want to go and like fight, because they don't agree with it, which I think is a very brave decision. And I wouldn't, you know, have anything bad to say about that person at all, because, you know, it's up to them. And that would be a hard thing to sort of stand by and like go against the grain, so kudos to them. But I don't think that's exactly what this is. So un résistant is like someone who goes further than that. They are part of the resistance, they're resisting. So if you can think of a simple one word now, or like a short phrase that would explain that, I think just a member of the resistance. But what we've got, résistante, is the feminine version of un résistant. So une résistante française is different from un résistant français, okay? Because it's all about the gender of the noun, okay, and the gender of the person who is being described. So, d'origine américaine, of American origin. Américaine agrees with origine, which is a feminine noun. Né, there we've got N-E-E, so there's an accent aigu on the E. So that's the past participle of the verb naître. Naître is to be born, okay? So I was born, je suis né. There's an extra E there because past participles that use être in their composed forms, for example, je suis né, je suis allée, je suis morte. I died. It's a weird thing to say. You can say it. Or je suis allée is like the most common one. I went. Okay. Instead of saying j'ai allé or j'ai né, like I have born or I have gone, if you like, with the verb avoir, you don't use them in French. Certain verbs take être. So you have to say je suis. Instead of I have, you say I am went or I am born. That's what it sounds like if you back translate it, but it just means I was born. Okay, if you're translating it properly. So because there are these verbs like naître, mourir, which is to die. In fact, I've got some of them written on here. Être, to be. Naître. Alors, j'ai été. Okay, so être isn't actually one that is weirdly conjugated with être. So let's look at a different one. Ah, devenu, so je suis devenu fatigué. Okay, I became tired, I got tired, to become or to get tired. That's using être. Reflexive verbs also, verbs that are preceded by the suffix se, they are conjugated with être instead of avoir. Okay, we're getting into different territory here, but the point is there's an extra E on this past participle here because it's a verb that is conjugated with être. And so the past participle of that type of verb, when used in the compound tense, like the passé composé, for example, or here as like a description word, an adjective, otherwise known as an adjective, then it has to agree in gender and number, so it's got this extra E. So she was born, née le 3 juin, le 3 juin. There's that fox again. Born on the 3rd of June, the 3 June. You don't have to do third, troisième, you just say le 3 juin, that's the date. And then here we have the year, 1900, so that's 1906, 1906. À Saint-Louis, or at St. Louis. So, à, there. At is the preposition that you need when you're at or in a place that's a city or a town or, you know, a little place like that, okay? À St. Louis, Missouri, in brackets, États-Unis, États-Unis. So that means the United States, the States United, okay? There's an accent over the first E, okay? Makes it an État. And then uni is describing the states, so there's an S at the end because it means united, okay, which is like a kind of like a past participle and an adjective at the same time, and there's a little hyphen there. And the S, you pronounce the S because it's followed by a vowel. États-Unis, So, she was born in St. Louis, Missouri, the United States. Est morte, and she died, and died, okay? Normally, it would say, elle est morte. She is dead, or she died. So, est is the third person singular form of être. Sorry, I'm putting some weird faces. And distracted by the fox, I'm in my car. It's all really weird. Elle est morte would mean she died. But here we're saying née et morte. So born and died. It's kind of briefer and more factual. Le 12 avril, le 12th of April, 1900, and then 75. 75 is like 60, 15. You put them together and it makes 75. Okay? French maths. And she died à Paris. Okay, we know where Paris is. It's in France. Okay? Vedette. Now, I like this word. Vedette means like a star, as in someone who is known for something. Okay? Star of the screen kind of thing. Star of film or the stage. Vedette du music hall. So music hall star. Okay? Kind of cabaret kind of stuff like on the stage. Et icône des années folles. Les années folles is the roaring 20s. But in French, it's années folles, which is crazy years. Okay, it sounds like a good time to be alive. Elle devient française. So she becomes French, because this is like the present tense. She becomes French en 1937. Oh, you can't even see that, sorry. She becomes French in this year, 1937. Après son, so after her, son is his or her, depending on whatever the word is that follows. So son mariage is her marriage, because we're talking about her. But if it was like his marriage, it would still be son mariage. So her marriage avec Jean Lion, with or to Jean Lion, un courtier en sucre industriel. So an industrial broker of sugar, or an industrial sugar broker, if you like, okay? So I'm sure he made lots of money. And he's very handsome. Il était très beau, en fait. Donc, allez regarder les images des deux, du couple. Durant la Seconde Guerre mondiale. So, durant is during. La Seconde Guerre mondiale, the Second World War worldwide, if you like. Elle est une honorable correspondant. So she was, or she's an honorable correspondent. Des services secrets français, of the French secret services. Ooh, French secret service. And then comma, I guess. Se produit souvent gratuitement. So she would often, this se produit comes from the reflexive verb se, or is it reflexive? I can't remember, pronominal verb. It's got se in front of it. Is it like reflexive? Yes, reflexive. She would perform, or like, if you like, it is produire is to produce, or like to make. But it means to perform. Okay, she would perform souvent gratuitement, so often, freely, like without being paid, sans être payé. En Afrique du Nord, in the north of Africa. Afrique du Nord. So here we've got en in front of a country, and then here we've got en in front of a year, okay, as in a date that something happened. So that's what happens in French. So you'd use à to say that I'm at Cardiff, I'm in Cardiff, je suis à Cardiff, je suis à Paris, je vais à Rome, je suis allé à Londres, mais je suis allé en France, je suis allé en Afrique, je vais en Afrique, je suis allé en Afrique en 2010. Okay, so you also use en to stipulate or designate the year that something happened, or the yeah, something happened, okay? Or something will happen. So, so during the Second World War, durant la Seconde Guerre mondiale, elle est une honorable correspondante des services secrets français et se produit souvent gratuitement en Afrique du Nord, Northern Africa, devant les troupes alliées, so in front of or before the Allied troops, les troupes alliées, so les troupes is a feminine plural noun. That's why there's an extra E there on allié, which means allied. Et termine, so, and she finishes or she ends la guerre, finishes the war, comme lieutenant, as a lieutenant, de l'armée, of the army, française, French army, de la libération, the French Liberation Army, okay? So, en 2000, en 1946, so in 1946, elle reçoit la médaille de la résistance française. So, in 1946, she receives the medal of the French Medal of the Resistance. So, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So, not only is she like an amazingly talented and beautiful dancer, actress, and what else have they called her? Singer. But she also was married 3 times and became part of the French Resistance. And then this last bit, which I'm going to just read, okay? I'm just going to read it to you. It could be an exercise, a listening exercise. Elle utilise ensuite sa grande popularité au service de la lutte contre le racisme et pour l'émancipation des Noirs. So she next uses, or used if you like, this is written in the present tense, but we're obviously in English we talk about people, things in the past tense, or the imperfect tense. But I like that they're using this present tense because it's also kind of gives it a sense of, it kind of brings it to life, you know? Anyway, it's just a kind of stylistic, I can't think what the word is, like a convention, I guess. So, elle utilise ensuite sa grande popularité au service de la lutte contre le racisme. So she uses her great popularity in aid of, if you like, la lutte contre, so the fight against le racisme, et pour l'émancipation des Noirs, and for the emancipation of the blacks, or black people, des Noirs, the emancipation of, the release of, the freedom of, if you like. En particulier, in particular, en soutenant le mouvement américain des droits civiques, by supporting the American civil rights movement. And then it says, excuse me, le 28 août, so that's the 28th of August, 1963, ok, écrit par ici, 1963, lorsque Martin Luther King prononce son discours, I Have a Dream. So whilst Martin Luther King is like announcing his I Have a Dream speech along the Washington March, lors de la marche sur Washington pour l'emploi et la liberté, for working and freedom, elle se tient à ses côtés en uniforme de l'armée de l'air française. So she was at his side, dressed in, or at his side, dressed in the uniform of the French Air Force, et sera la seule femme à prendre la parole depuis le Lincoln Memorial. So I need to check prendre la parole, because I'm not sure whether it means to be a spokesperson or not. So I've got a feeling it might mean something else. Prendre la parole. So again, here what I'm going to do is just go and have a little look on word reference. Okay, well, I can't remember what I said, but a spokesperson. So yeah, okay, it's essentially the same thing. To take the floor. To take the floor. So it's an idiom. So yeah, to speak in public. Okay, so yeah, to speak. So have a look here. So we've got so here's an example of, if you type in prends la parole, because you don't know how to translate something into English, for example, you can look through until you find something that's suitable, so a suitable translation. So it might be that there's not just one translation that's suitable for the context. Like it might be a formal text that you're writing for, or you might just need to understand the gist of something. But if you were, say, translating a document and it needed to be published, then you would have to find the right translation for the context of, like, the brief, like the purpose of the translation. If it was for publication, for example, you'd need to know, like, who the readership is. Is this formal? Is it kind of jokey? Is it for, like, social media? Blah, blah, blah. So to speak in public, or to take the floor. So to take the floor is a nice expression. I think, or to speak in public or give a speech. I think take the floor is a good one, because it means, like, the point is, it's saying, and she would be la seule femme à prendre la parole depuis le Lincoln Memorial. So she would be the only person to take the floor from the Lincoln Memorial, or since or from. So I'm guessing that it would be from. So the Lincoln Memorial, I'm guessing, I mean, because I know that that's in Washington at the end of, like, the big, if you've ever seen, like, a famous film with the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, it's at the end of, like, a big, there's, like, a huge statue of Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, and he's in, like, a kind of a building with, like, white columns. And then in front of that there's, like, there's, like, a kind of oh my god, I can't think, like, not a promenade, but, like, there's a long space, and then in the middle there's some, if I believe rightly, because I have been there, like, there's kind of some water features, like, kind of ponds. And I'm thinking of Forrest Gump. There's a bit in that where, like, Janie wades through the water, and she's quite adorable as she sees Forrest Gump there. So that's, I think here it's depuis le Lincoln Memorial means, so depuis can mean from or since, depending on the meaning, but here it's difficult to say. So I don't think it's talking about a different occasion where someone spoke. Excuse me, I think this is saying that during the march where Martin Luther King made his I Have a Dream speech, I think Josephine Baker was the first, or the only, sorry, la seule femme, the only lady to take the stage, like to take the floor, to make a speech, basically. Make a speech, to make a speech. After the, or from the Lincoln Memorial. So yeah, I think it means, like, she was there at that place when she made the speech. So that's what I think it is. So there you go. Voila. Oh, I got there in the end. So let me just read that little bit again. Elle utilise ensuite sa grande popularité au service de la lutte contre le racisme et pour l'émancipation des Noirs, en particulier en soutenant le mouvement américain des droits civiques. Le 28 août 1963, lorsque Martin Luther King prononce son discours I Have a Dream, lors de la marche sur Washington pour l'emploi et la liberté, elle se tient à ses côtés en uniforme de l'armée de l'air française et sera la seule femme à prendre la parole depuis le Lincoln Memorial. Yeah, okay, so this is what I understand this to mean. I have to check this. So she then uses her great popularity in the name of the fight against racism and for the emancipation of the black people, black people, I guess. In particular, by supporting the American Civil Rights Movement. On the 29th of August, and in French, you don't have to say sur le 28 août, you just say le 28 août, okay? So you just say the 28th of August, whatever, and that means on that day. So on the 28th of August, 1963, when Martin Luther King made his I Have a Dream speech during the Washington March for freedom and employment. It's quite hard to translate this all in one go. She stood at his side in wearing the uniform, the French Air Force uniform, and would be the only woman to take the floor at the Lincoln Memorial. So I would say at instead of from, because it tells you where she is, like in space, rather than where she is in time, if you like. Donc voilà, Josephine Baker, very interesting lady. And I didn't know that about her until I read the Wikipedia page, because all I knew was that she was like a singer and dancer. I didn't realise what the link was with her in France, but it was via her second husband. And yeah, donc voilà. I hope you found that interesting, and I really hope you like the song that I'm going to post as well, which is called Miss Josephine. It's wonderful. Merci beaucoup. And if you want to join my French club and you haven't already, then just look at the information at the link below, which will take you to morelanguagesolutions.com. You'll find all the information there, and you'll receive a monthly link to my video tutorial, as well as like the handout, which will look something like this. And that's normally on the last Thursday of every month, but sometimes it is a little bit late just because I'm a little bit I'm not based in my usual office, and so that's been up in the air for like the last nearly a year. So hopefully I'll get that sorted soon. So merci beaucoup. Thank you for your understanding, and I hope you enjoyed this and that you tune in next month. Merci. Au revoir.